This story is important. This week, President Trump is expected to make a decision on gun control. He told the American people he would. In private meetings and phone calls, lawmakers are courting the president, Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senator Chuck Schumer, to join the president for a Rose Guard ceremony if he passes a more expansive bill. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin is even offering to name a background check bill, one that he and Republican Senator Pat Toomey have been working on for 6 years after the president, if he agrees to support it. And he knows President Trump likes things with his name on it. Back with me, former Republican Congressman Ryan Costello. I'm not joking. And former Democratic Congressman Steve Israel. Listen, Ryan, if you want to get something done, go to where the person is. The president likes his name on things. Congressman Israel, what do you think of this strategy? Nancy Pelosi saying, we will show up and stand next to you. Joe Manchin, I'm going to put your name on it.
I am pragmatically pessimistic. For as long as the gun lobby opposes any compromise on gun safety, and for as long as mostly House Republicans are afraid to oppose the gun lobby, nothing's going to get done. The Attorney General has this draft that he's circulating. 99.9% of the American people can support a draft bill that the Attorney General is formulating as long as 0.1% of gun voters are against it. I don't see this president, and I don't see the Republican caucus in Congress defying that 0.1%.
Is the NRA that powerful? If you think about what this pivot would do for the president and all of the support he would get from a lot of unlikely voices, why wouldn't he do something here?
Well, I hope that he does, especially on...
We're going to put hope on the side. Let's get real and what you think he'll actually do.
Look, the strength of the NRA is in Republican primaries. And right now you have a more conservative-leaning House than when we had the majority, from when I served there. But to Steve's point, the overwhelming majority of Americans support a background check on all gun sales. So that if you're not a federally licensed firearm dealer, so if I buy Steve's gun or he buys mine, we don't have guns here. Instead of just being able to do that, you would have to go do a quick background check. Very common sense, really not objectionable. The president should lean in and sign it because most Americans, even who don't support him, say, you know what? He's willing to take on the NRA. He's willing to do what he thinks is right. That's what should happen. The next thing that he should do is support a red flag law, which says that if I am acting erratically or if I've demonstrated that I am not mentally capable of conducting myself in a reasonable way, if I threaten someone, law enforcement can go to court and get a temporary retrieval of my weapon until I go before a court and have a due process hearing. That's the next piece of the puzzle that has to happen. If he does not do this, I don't think the ability to go into suburban America and say, I am on the right side of public safety, I don't know how you can make that argument if you don't push forward with this solution, because the overwhelming majority of Americans support this.
You've said the word overwhelming. You've said the word overwhelming. I've said the word overwhelming, and we've got the numbers to back it up. That being the case, how does the NRA remain this powerful?
It's exactly what Ryan said.
I mean, is it Darth Vader?
It's cultural.
There is nothing that is more intensely motivating of Republican voters in a primary than guns. I will tell you, I don't know about Ryan's experience, but
there's a whole lot of Republicans who aren't in support of letting it rip in terms of guns.
75%, 80% of Republicans support background checks.
That's exactly right. But the concern is that 75% isn't motivated to vote on that one issue. The balance, the 25% in the balance,
yes,
that's the only issue they're voting on.
Yes.
And that describes the conundrum we have.
Are you surprised in any way that Attorney General Bill Barr is kind of getting in the mix here? Last week on the Hill, circulating this idea around more expansive background checks. This is the Attorney General. Is that something you saw when you were in office?
No, I'm not surprised. Look, it's necessary to do, and the arguments
but for the Attorney General to do it.
The argument, yes, and here's why. The arguments that the NRA are going to make right now are going to be constitutionally rooted. Oh, this is against due process. This is against the Second Amendment. So if you have the AG come in and say this passes constitutional muster, the arguments that the NRA are going to make to push back against this kind of fall by the wayside. And by the way, if the president leans in on this, you will get a majority of Republicans in the House for sure, and maybe even in the Senate supporting the bill.
But the president was very quick, and the White House is very quick to disassociate from the current Barr draft. They've said he can do this, but we are not going to support it necessarily.
We'll see what happens, I think,
Yes.
is one of the president's favorite quotes.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.